Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Whitty here. I'm just here doing this video to try and give you a little heads up, a little tips for success video, just to give you a little bit more information about who I am and what my expectations are for the course and what I would like you to be doing to make sure that you're successful in the course. So, welcome to Civics. I've been teaching this course for a long time, and I hope that you're successful, and I hope that you enjoy the content. I think it's good content, and I think it's important content for what it is that you need to learn going forward into life. So I want to talk less about civics right now, and I want to talk a little bit more about just the course and the expectations around the course. Okay, so I'm going to give you kind of my top 5 tips for success. So the first one is pretty obvious, and that's making sure that you're logging in regularly. I want you to keep in mind that this course is very similar to a in-class course. So there's no difference between the number of times that you would go to your regular in-class class. You go there every day unless you're sick or have another reason why you're not there. And you need to make sure that you're there every day, and most likely you will have some homework. I know as a teacher myself, I try to limit homework. There are other teachers who give lots of homework. It just depends probably on the subject area, the teacher, how the teacher's organizing their class. So basically, I would say on average, every class that you run is about an hour and 15 minutes to an hour and a half. So that's about the amount of time I'd like you to be committing every day to this course. So making sure that you're logging in on a daily basis so that you're getting any updates that I might be putting out, and making sure that you are working in the environment for a certain amount of time, an hour and a half. Now that may not mean that you're logged in for that hour and a half, but it does mean that you've logged in, you've read the news feed, and you know what it is that you need to do, and maybe you're working in a different application in Word or whatever other documentation that you're doing. It doesn't really matter, but I want to make sure that you're logging in every day. That's probably the most important thing, so that you're getting the updates, so that you know what's happening, you know what's coming up next, and you're exploring the environment as best you can. Along with that is making sure that you're reading the content. I know a lot of students in an e-learning course try to skip over the content in order to get just to the assignment and complete the assignment, but you will find that you will not do as well in the course if you don't have knowledge of the content. So you want to make sure that you're getting in there, reading all of the content, and knowing everything that you need to know before you actually move on to the assignment. If you have any questions about the content or you're not sure about an assignment, you'll always have the ability to email me to clarify any information that you might need. I am available, and I do log in almost every day. The weekends I may not log in, Saturday and Sunday. Every other day I will most likely log in at least once per day, if only to check email. I'll be there, but most often I'm there doing marking and looking at your work and participating in discussions. So I'll be there every day. So I want to make sure that you're there every day and you're contributing and making sure that you're up to date. And I also log in on a regular basis to update you on where you should be, any changes to the course that have been made, any details that you need to understand about the assignments. So I try to be there as much as I can, so I want you to make sure that you're trying to be there as much as you can. Okay. So the second piece of information that's probably most important is making sure you're handing in your work. Handing in work is extremely easy in an e-learning course. It's just submitting something to the Dropbox. If you are having trouble doing that, please make sure that you contact me or contact somebody at your school who might be an e-learning teacher to get information on how to get that done, because that's probably the most important thing. Civics is a fairly straightforward course, and probably the main reason people fail civics is because they haven't submitted all their work. I rarely have somebody who's submitted all their work that fails their course. So you want to make sure that you're handing in all your work. Just to kind of give you an overview of how the course goes, I release a new activity every other day, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday during the week. So you will be doing an activity starting on Monday, then another activity will be released on Wednesday, then another activity will be released on Friday, and then another one on the next Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So it releases like that every single week for the 9 weeks of the course. The other thing is, Assignments are also due on the Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So when something's getting released, it's also due. There's also something else due on that day. And I usually give you about a week and a half to complete an assignment. So for example, if I were to give you an assignment today, that's Wednesday, you would then have it due not next Wednesday, but next Friday. So not this Friday, but the following Friday. So I give you a week and a half to complete that, and the due date is a week and a half away. Now that sounds like a lot of time, but you have to remember that on Friday, there's something else being released that is also due later on. And then the following Monday, something else is being released. So there's a constant release of material. So you can't just think that I have a week and a half to complete that assignment, because really you don't have a full week and a half. You only really have a couple of days, 2-3 days to complete an assignment. But you think about it, I mean, that's a lot of time when you consider what you would be doing in a regular in-class. Okay? So make sure that you are handing in your work, and make sure that you know every single Dropbox item is there. You can clearly see whether you have handed something in. So if you're not sure, just go into your Dropbox and you'll see like a little 1 beside it. And I may do a video later on about looking at the Dropbox and making sure you've submitted something. One of the nice things about the e-learning environment is that when you do submit something, it can give you a receipt that you've submitted an assignment. So if that's the case, then at least you know. Keep that receipt in your email so that if something happens later and I've given you a 0 on an assignment that you claim that you handed in, you have that receipt that you can use to prove to me that you've handed it in. And then we'll work out another way of getting it done. But I've never had an issue with students submitting work to the Dropbox without me being able to see it. So don't worry about that. There is one issue with the Dropbox, and this is the third point that I want to talk about. And the one issue with the Dropbox is submitting work in a proper format. The best format for me for marking work is PDF. And there is a way to save any work that you complete in any piece of software that you complete as a PDF. So if you're working in Google Docs, there's a way to save your Google Doc file as a PDF. If you're working in Microsoft Word, there's a way of saving that Word document as a PDF. And if you're working on a Mac, on Pages, there's also a way to save a Pages document as a PDF. And I'm going to be including some videos in this news stream to explain to you how you might do that. So if you're not sure how to create a PDF, I would suggest making sure you know how to do that. The other part of that is also keep a copy of the document that is not a PDF. So when you're working on a piece of work or an assignment in the course, my suggestion is this: work on it in whatever software you want. So whether it's Google Docs, Word, Pages, whatever software you're using. It could be a presentation software, PowerPoint, or Google Slides, or whatever. Okay, work on it in that piece of software. Once you're done, save it as that kind of software. So if I'm working in Microsoft Word, I'm going to save it as a doc file. If I'm working in Pages, I'm going to save it as a Pages file. If I'm working in a Google Drive or in Google Docs, I'm going to save it as a Docs file. Then create another copy of that document as a PDF. And then that document is the one you're going to be submitting to the Dropbox. And the reason I say keep 2 copies, one as your regular document and one as your PDF, is because often students will have they'll save it as a PDF, but they won't have the original version of the assignment. And if I tell you that it was submitted incorrectly, or you did the assignment incorrectly, and I ask you to resubmit the assignment, if you only have the PDF, then you're going to have to recreate that assignment in order to submit it again. If you have the doc file or the Pages file, you can just open that up, edit it in any way you need to edit it, and then resave it, and then save it as a PDF again, and then upload that newly edited PDF. Because we don't have the ability to edit PDF files naturally, it becomes a lot more difficult if all you have is the copy of the PDF. So I just wanted to give you that little tip as far as saving work and working on your documents. Make sure that you have 2 copies, and make sure that you submit the PDF. That's the best way for you to submit a document. It's the easiest for me to see, and then I can't edit a document file, which is also a benefit to you. Not that I would ever do this, but if you were wondering and you thought, well, I did do it that way, but he must have edited it, or he must have changed it, or whatever, I can't change that PDF document. So It's much more secure, and it's your work, and you have submitted it in a way that makes sure that what you want to portray is being submitted. My tip number 4 is making sure that you are always communicating with me. If don't think that you're bothering me by emailing me. That's not. I get a lot of that from students. Oh, Mr. Whitty, I'm sorry to bother you, or blah blah blah. Well, no, that's what I'm here for. If you were in my face-to-face class, we'd be talking every day. You'd be asking me questions. I'd be teaching you. But we don't have that ability in an e-learning class. You get the content through the content pages, and then you work on the assignment that way. So we're a little more unconnected. And so what I would like you to do is, if you have a question about any of the content, if you have a question of clarification for how the assignment's going to be completed, please, by all means, contact me via email, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. As I said, I log in on a daily basis, and I will make sure to get back to you basically that day, if not early the next day. You will always get a response when I ask a question, or when you ask a question of me. I have never left a student in the lurch by not answering a question. Keep in mind, if you ask me a question on a Friday afternoon, I may not get in until the following Monday to answer that question. So you may have some time there where I don't actually log in. But as I said, generally I try to log in on the weekends as well, just to kind of look at the email and make sure, but that may not happen. There are weekends when I don't log in at all. So please make sure that you're aware of that, but keep that communication line open. If there's an issue where you have to go to, you're going on a trip, or you can't log in for a certain amount of time, and you're concerned about that, then you need to communicate that information to me through email. Let me know. I've got this, I'm going to be away for these few days because of this. Is it okay for me to have an extension and whatnot? And we can work through that. The one other thing I want to talk about that, just kind of as a branch off of what I've just talked about, and that is that, remember, we only have 9 weeks in this course. So there's a lot of work to get done in a short period of time. So I want you to make sure that you are, again, it kind of references everything that we've talked about so far, about logging in regularly, making sure your work is handed in, making sure it's submitted in the proper format, and making sure that you're communicating any problems that you might have. Those are so important to make sure that you're actually being successful in the course. The very last piece of information I want to talk to you quickly about is making sure that you're in the discussions. The discussions area is the area where we get to talk a little bit more about some of the concepts of the course. I reserve the right to mark the discussions. I don't necessarily at the beginning, but if I notice that people aren't participating in the discussions, I will start to make it something that is a marked thing. I don't like to mark the discussions because that's not what discussions are for. Discussions are there to kind of do just that, discuss and move the discussion forward and dig deeper into the content. So I want you to make sure that you're getting in there and you're talking about the content with other people and with me, and I will jump in on those discussions every once in a while to try and kind of go the discussion on and talk to you about things. So I want to make sure that you're in those discussions. It's a good way to kind of dig deeper into the content of the course and make sure you have a clear understanding of what it is that we're talking about in this course. So that's it. I just want to say one last thing. Maybe there is no exam in the civics course, so you will not be completing an exam. There is a summative unit, which is unit 4 in this course, and that unit is your summative and is worth 30% of your marks. So it's something that you want to make sure that you complete for this course. That's it for me. I don't want to go on much longer. It's already been too long. So hopefully you have a great time in the course. Hopefully you learn something. And please kind of keep yourself in touch with me, especially if you have any concerns or problems. All right, that's it.